Hello everyone. In last week's video I installed the roof, the roofing structure. And since then I went back and attached all those panels with a couple of nails and a couple of screws so they lay now nice and flat. And then I taped all the seams with this really strong adhesive tape that is especially made for this type of application. So now the roof is relatively watertight, but still it is missing the actual roofing material. And this is what I'm going to install today. I'm installing these panels. They are 29 gauge metal sheets, 8 feet long, 26 inches wide, and they're called 5V because they have these 5 ridges in a V shape. Well, I guess a V shape if you turn it around. And they are symmetrical. So the idea is that these double V shape overlaps with the next row's double V, like so, and with this overlap it makes the seam watertight. Some water might get in here, but it then runs down in this groove between the two panels. On this first sheet, the one that goes against the gable wall, I'm gonna cut off these ridges here, these peaks, and that allows me to install a piece of L flashing that goes over here and then makes it watertight from this side and also gives it a really clean look, real finished look.
Please, oh please, won't you stick around? I don't want to say goodbye when the sun goes down. I want to keep you close, want to hold you tight. I don't ever want to say goodnight, but stick around. An hour or two will never be enough to be with you. Whenever you leave me longing and blue.
This is the overhang of the full 8-foot sheet. And I think that's a little too much. This is about 4 inches. If I install a fascia board here, which is maybe 1 inch, and then maybe I take about 2 inches off. So this gives me a little bit of overhang over a fascia sheet, a fascia board, and then allows me to drip into maybe a gutter if I ever install one. These metal panels get screwed on, and for that I'm using these roofing screws. They are self-drilling, self-tapping. They have a really sharp point so they can easily punch through this 29 gauge roofing material. And they have this neoprene washer, so as I tighten them down it compresses the washer and makes the hole that they just punched watertight. And while still on the ground, I make a few markings for my screws, which, I mean, it's way easier to mark it here, so they are all nicely aligned then later on. So I make a mark here, one here, and then the same over here. Yesterday it took me about 4 hours to finish the roofing panels on the east side, and today I think I can do it even faster on the west side because I pre-drilled all the holes, so I no longer have to punch through, which saves me one additional step, one additional time to go up and down the ladder for each of those panels. So I'm hoping to get it done in about 3 hours and before it gets too hot. It's really nice right now, a little overcast, the sun just rose over there, so really quiet and peaceful. I'm installing these panels starting on the south side of my carport, and that means the overhang, this little potential gap where rain can get in, is also facing south. And I'm doing this because whenever we get big rainstorms, usually they are combined with the wind coming from the north, and so this really decreases the chance that water will be going under here. Right, so this is facing south, the wind will be coming from the north with the rain, so it will just push over this thing and won't leak in. It's just an extra precaution really, and since I could have started either way, going north to south or south to north, this is, I think, the better option. What I didn't realize immediately is that these panels, so this is just a little cutoff, that they appear to be symmetrical with this 5V pattern, 2 of those V's on either side and 1 in the middle. It appears to be symmetrical, but it isn't. So if you look closely, one side of this V shape is very pointy here at the bottom. Let me see if I can move that into focus. So this is very pointy here at the bottom, while the other side is more flat. Right, the bottom of this thing, I hope you can see this, is flat. So this one is the one that needs to be installed first, with the next one overlapping into this side, so that this little wider flat thing is basically the groove that the next panel will, I mean this pointy bit on the other side will then sit in the flat part of this one. And that gives a much tighter fit between those two panels. You can install it the other way around as well, and I accidentally did that a couple of times, but then the gap on this side where the two panels meet will be much bigger and they don't line up that nicely. So this is certainly something I have not realized right from the get-go, but I did realize it now, and I will pay more attention when installing these. So this last one, I need to cut off the overhang. So I'm putting a mark on here. Then I'm taking it off again and cut it exactly to size. Ooh. Right. To finish off the roof installation, I'm going to install this trim, this L flashing over the gable wall. So this would be the plane of the roof, and this is then the gable wall down here, and this L-shaped flashing would cover it up nicely, so no rain can get in here. And to make the installation a little easier, I'm going to punch a few holes in it where the screws will go in. And then on the inside, I'm going to install this butyl tape. It's like, I guess, caulking, but in tape form. It's super sticky, like Play-Doh. And you put a strip on the inside and then you squish it down, and this should make a watertight seal on this edge here where the roof panel slide under this L trim. So this should make this whole thing as watertight as it can be. So these trim pieces are 10 feet long, but my roof is only 8 feet long. That means I can install the one that goes onto the other side. I can install with a little bit of overlap. So I'm cutting this here, and then I can bend this to the shape of the roof. And this one will then overhang the trim piece that I just installed on the other side. So this makes the ridge line watertight and nicely covers any of these vertical gaps that I would otherwise have. I think I figured out a more elegant way to install this butyl tape. So I'm rolling it off with the backing paper still attached, and I'm laying it flat upside down. So with the backing paper attached, it doesn't stretch because the paper doesn't stretch. So that makes it really easy to spool it off. And then I can just flip it over and press it down with the backing tape still attached. Well, and then I can just peel off the backing paper.
The next day, I went back, screwed down the top of the panels, and added a temporary ridge cap with some Gorilla Tape.
I still need to install a permanent ridge cap. And instead of using the traditional metal ones, I'm going with this. This is called, well, what is it called? Peel and seal. And it is more like a flexible flashing material. It's self-sticking. You roll it down, press it down, and it adheres just fine to any type of roof material. And it can be left exposed. So this has an aluminum color on the outside, so it should blend in nicely, although you won't be able to see it like 12 feet up in the air. But still, this should seal it up nicely, and it shouldn't leave any holes for wind-driven rain that can get under traditional roof caps when those roof caps sit a little proud of those ridges that the roof has.
Really, the main reason for using this Gorilla Tape as a temporary ridge cap was to cover these really sharp edges that these roofing panels have. When I'm sitting on it, I don't want to cut myself all the time. It was almost 100 degrees today. This is certainly not the best temperature to sit on the metal roof. However, it is a perfect temperature to install this peel and seal material. The warmer it gets, the more pliable it is, and it was really easy to roll it down and press it into all those grooves and over those ridges and make it really conform to the contour of the roof. I used the roller to roll it down on the flat parts, and I used the handle of the roller to press it into the grooves over those little ridges. It is not perfect. It has some wrinkles and it doesn't fully lay flat everywhere, but really, who cares? This is 14 feet up in the air, so nobody will ever really see it. What's more important for me is that it will do its job. It will seal up the ridge nicely, and it will make sure that there's no voids, no holes, no nothing that any water-driven rain can get into and under. And for that, I think this type of ridge cap is much better than a traditional one.
And with that, not only the roof is complete, but the entire carport is. It took me a couple of months building it, 4 or 5 months, I don't know, but I only worked on it over the weekends and I haven't worked on it every weekend. So let's try it out. Of course, I didn't build the carport for the tractor. Something else will be living in here. What it is, I will reveal in a couple of weeks. Stay tuned. So far, thank you for watching and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.